Hello, I'm Jon Sermon. I'm a church leader in Suffolk in the UK, and throughout much of the lockdown I've been recording videos, short talks of encouragement, I hope, for people in these difficult circumstances we're in. Well, I'm making this particular one on Friday the 11th of September, and here in the UK, many of you will already be aware, of course, we've had our news today dominated by the fact that levels of coronavirus infections are rising quite alarmingly. There are some parts of the country that are having to have local restrictions reimposed. And of course, from yesterday, we had the news of the new rule of six that comes into force on Monday, urging us to return to the sorts of precautions and indeed common sense that prevailed during the height of lockdown in many ways, because whilst infection rates are so much lower than they were at the peak back in March, they are beginning to go up again, and our government rightly wants us all to take the steps we can to try and control and reduce this horrible infection. Now, where is the encouragement in that? Well, obviously, in one sense, it's very discouraging that after all the sacrifices people have made, after all the restrictions we've lived with for so long, that still the virus is not beaten. But where we get our encouragement from, I believe, is a bigger thing than only what are the current circumstances. And yes, the current circumstances are challenging. They are better than they might have been. On the other hand, they're worse than potentially they might have been. But encouragement comes in so many different ways. And at our prayer meeting this morning, we really had a big emphasis on the need to, I would call it, resist temptation. We are all tempted to get annoyed by the restrictions that are placed on us. And we might even fall into blaming the government for restricting our freedom. But it's not that the government are restricting our freedom so much as the circumstance of this virus has made it necessary for the government to restrict our freedom. And certainly one of the big emphases we had in our prayer meeting this morning was the need to continue worshipping God and focusing on God and not letting our potential annoyance get in the way. One of our people talked about shouting at the television the previous evening over something that was unconnected to this, but realizing that actually if we let ourselves get annoyed, we are feeding the unhealthy side of our personality. And if we concentrate on our relationship with God and our worship, we are feeding the healthy side. And indeed, one of the Bible verses we had, it's from the first letter of John, almost towards the end of the New Testament part of the Bible. Come the three letters of John, then one of Jude, and the final book, Revelation. And in this, John was writing to a scattered group of Christians in the early church at a time of actually severe persecution. And he said, don't let anything take the place of God in your life. That's a challenge, isn't it? But it's also one that if we take on that challenge, it's such an encouragement. Let's not let anything get in the way of God in our life. And then we can be encouraged. God bless you.